Hello, everybody. How's it going? It's me, Crendor, and welcome back to another Almost Too Old for This, the channel where I react to Jesse Cox's Too Old for This channel, where he reacts to content for Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Today, we are actually reacting to a Gen Alpha thing. We have Why Does Every Song Sound the Same? Too Old for Gen Alpha Music. Oh boy, here we go.
All right, we're doing this again, and this time we're checking out a video submitted by friend of the pod, Mr. Alex Fossiani, who was like, hey, remember a few years back there was this video floating around by Key of Awesome that was basically all of these very popular songs have the same melody. And, well,
I have not
there's
seen
a
that
Gen
video.
Alpha version now. It's called the Gen Alpha medley, according to him, and we need to check it out. So we shall.
What did you just say?
Alpha medley, according to him.
Medley? The Gen Alpha medley? Like a fruit medley?
And we need to check it out. So we shall. I expect potentially this video
that'd be
will
a fruit
flagged.
medley.
I do not care. I'm excited to watch this.
I care. What? I'm not making money from this? Shut it down. Shut everything down.
So this is the Gen Alpha medley by Carl E. Martin. It's 2 months old.
Wait, did he just say medley again?
Gen Alpha medley by Carl E. Martin.
Is this a new Jesse Cox?
Got millions
Can't say a word.
Views. I'm excited to jump into this.
What was the other one? I think his other one was like Woof or Wolf. It was something like that.
Bunch of songs I don't recognize. Maybe a few I do, but I'm hoping the medley will be very easily detectable.
He keeps saying medley. Okay.
Okay, yep. The song was everywhere.
I have never heard this song.
Nobody said that it would last forever. That doesn't mean we didn't try to get there. Give me a call if you ever lonely. I'll be like one of you girls when you hold me.
The difference, I think, between this and the Key of Awesome, the Key of Awesome video was like over decades of music. It was popular music from like the 70s and 80s and 90s, right? This is so far a 5-year span. Well, technically it's 2026, so like a 6-year span of music so far, which is crazy. There's some guy somewhere, like the beginning said, there's some guy somewhere who should be a filthy billionaire by now. Never mind, 2019, 7 years.
Easy to say, easy to do.
Dude, I haven't heard of any of these songs.
No, we went back to 2018. Okay. But still, in a 10-year period, I get why it's the Gen Alpha medley. It's so I guess I'm really curious why why that lands so well with Gen Alpha.
I mean, honestly, it's a catchy melody. Like, I see why it's good. It's kind of got everything. It's got the highs, the lows, the like, you know, it's hitting like this, you know? I think it's a catchy melody. Now, I'm somebody, I listen to trance music. Like, I listen every week to the Armin van Buuren podcast. That's where I get like pretty much 80% of my music that I'll listen to. So I've been listening to that for a long ass time, probably as long as some Gen Alpha have been alive. So in fact, back when I used to do my WoW machinimas, I used to get my credit music on Newgrounds. Crazy, you know, flashback there going to Newgrounds for my music. But I mean, even one of my favorite parts about trance music a lot of times is that there are no lyrics or very limited lyrics. So it's all about kind of just melody and harmony, and just playing around with, you know, synths and all these different sounds. And to me, that's what I love. If I don't mind some lyrics in a lot of my songs that I listen to, but I don't really like a lot of lyrics. Like if there's a lyric, I prefer to just be very minimal, if that makes sense. I mean, it's a very like subjective opinion, but that's just how I am. But I'll still listen to like some rock songs or like some mainstream stuff or like hipster music. Like I'll listen to anything, to be honest. It's just my go-to music is just EDM trance. I got some like big room in there. Some like hard style stuff. I'm essentially, it's like that sloth from Zootopia where you're like, Crendor probably listens to like just like really chill, like hippie music, like high people, like, what's up, guy? And really it's just like as I'm like in the gym. I'm very sloth Zootopia coded. Although trance is a little more like all over the place. You get some really chill trance songs, you get more energetic trance, you get some of my favorite trance songs are just like the old like 90s 10-minute long trance songs where it's like it's there to put you into a trance. Like Motorcycle, if you look that one up, is a good one. This has turned into me just talking about the music that I like. What's it? I forget who it's from. It's As the Rush Comes by Motorcycle. That is, if you want a really good trance song, that's a great trance song. It's one of my favorites. You may have even heard it before. It's from 2004. It's like it's an older one, but anyway.
Hopefully we'll get answers.
So what's going on here? Are they all copying the
I
same
don't know,
melody?
man. What is going on here?
Might just be a coincidence.
In fact, but one of my main issues with a lot of modern trance is they've started like pairing up with pop music, and some modern trance or EDM in general, honestly, has like blended with pop music and gets kind of just like generic and boring. And like it actually makes me mad when sometimes they'll do like the top 50 or 100 songs of the year, and I've heard them all because I've listened to all the podcasts. I'm like, dude, this one song is like my favorite song. It's so good. And they're like, number 49. And I'm like, what? And then number 1 is just like, we can make it if we try. Here we have a good time. Like remixed in the trance. And I'm like, are you kidding me? It drives me insane. Anyway. This old man yells at techno trance. Old man yells at computer.
All right, I get the point, but you know, it's only pop music. It's not even like real music.
All right, well, that's 2010. All right, so we're expanding, but I guess we're going further back.
It's
Now,
got to be
I
something
love this
with
kind of
that
stuff.
melody.
I don't know that it means
Or the
anything.
medley.
It's just like a catchy
It's gotta be
hook.
the melody
But
medley.
With that said, it's fascinating that we as people, as like, you know, just smart apes, just gravitate to certain things.
I mean, it is interesting how people have different taste, not just in like movies or games or whatever, but in music, because like there are certain songs I will hear that like just like hit me like on an emotional level. I'm like, dude, this song is like so powerful. Like this makes me feel just like insane feeling. And someone else will hear it and be like, it just sounds like noise. Right? And then someone else will hear a song like one of these songs and be like, oh my God, it takes me back. And I'm like, I mean, this song's all right. I wouldn't listen to it again. You know what I mean? It's crazy how like contrasting of like tastes you can have. I think it is interesting. Yeah.
Okay, but you know, they're all in English. All those songs, they're all in English.
I almost wonder if this falls in the same category of the things we've been talking about with YouTube, where like, if one thing's successful, people just emulate that and hope others are like, oh, that's the thing I liked that other person do. So
That's true.
If they're doing it, I must like them too. All right, yeah, this is still the intro, so we'll get.
Oh,
we'll get
no,
some
my
answers.
God. I just saw that was from Tiesto, dude. Tiesto back in the day, he's got some bangers then, and now he's just nope. Yo, Gute Kluben.
That's weird, but you know, it's only countries from Western culture.
And they floated in on the jasmine wind, Kulthum and Omar Sharif.
I've named this melody the Gen Alpha melody, referring to the time period most of these songs were released.
Sure.
Why is this interesting? The world of music is built upon inspiration and melodic and harmonic norms, so being inspired is inevitable.
Right.
This is
right.
seen throughout history in chord progressions such as the 1-4-5s of blues or the 2-5-1s of jazz, or the axis of awesome progression in pop music. It's also seen in different production techniques such as the use of sampling, jazz and soul and hip-hop,
Yeah.
Right. Sure.
or the heavy use of chorus in the 80s.
I just going back to that really quickly. One of my favorite things is watching people on YouTube react to the Michael McDonald song "I Keep Forgetting." I keep forgetting, we're not in love anymore. That song, because that is a sample used in very popular songs. I like people discovering stuff like that. I think sampling is absolutely fine. And
I think sampling's great, but sometimes it does annoy me. Like there's that one song that came out. I don't know who made it, but they took "I'm Blue," right? We're like, "I'm blue, da ba dee da ba die," and they made it like "I'm blue and I'm feeling all right," and I hate that because number one, they made it worse, and number two, whenever I think of that song now, it like invades my head when I don't want it to, and I'm just like, "I'm blue and I'm feeling." I'm like, get out of here! You're not the lyrics I want. So that bothers me. Plus, there's like some songs actually where I heard the sampled version before the actual version. I remember there's like, there's a few songs even like back in the. I remember Jessica Simpson made that one song. Oh my god, she made a lot of songs. There was one song she made. I can't remember what specifically it was, but I heard hers and then I heard the like actual version later, and I was like, wait a second, she took that. So I don't know. I don't mind sampling, but sometimes it can be kind of annoying, I will say.
in fact, if I was rapping, I'd be sampling all sorts of crazy songs.
That's why we call things cliches, because our ideas inspire each other. But the Gen Alpha melody is different, and that's because it's a fully fledged melody being copied. This means it's a very specific melody, and a melody that could have easily been a victim of copyright. What makes this so interesting is that I've never seen a specific melody come even close to being as used in popular music. The only ones I can think of are melody writing techniques such as one-note melodies like the supertonic melody, which Andrew Huang made a video on, or like the triplet flow of trap music. But the Gen Alpha melody is a bit too specific. A hypothetical comparison would be if the riff for the melody to Seven Nation Army was copied 100 times and no royalties were being paid to the White Stripes. But what makes this melody so specific? Here's how it works. Alright, so the melody is made up of 4 notes split into 2 phrases.
I guess it's like sorry, I paused it right. It's like if people kept copying like Linkin Park, like like I could see people copy. In fact, I'm surprised more people haven't copied that. But I guess that one's such an iconic melody that you always will go back to be like, oh, that's Linkin Park, right? So I feel like there's some melodies that are just so iconic that they're not going to be. Well, I say that, but then there's people that would never hear Linkin Park before that are like growing up in Gen Alpha. And they'd probably just be like, yo, this new song's great. That happened. Okay, that also happened with that old city pop song. And then the Weeknd sampled it or whatever. It was it Plastic Love? And like, I love that city pop song, but like, I don't know. It's like now people just hear the Weeknd song, and I'm just like, dude, but like the OG city pop one's like so good. So like, I don't know. I think I have like this originality elitist mindset or something, and I don't want to have that. I'm not like, blah. It's just like that's what my brain keeps doing. It's just like, dude, the original though. Anyway, just the old man yells at computer. Keep going.
Starts on the 4th degree and is then followed by the note a tritone below, which is the 7th. Next up is the second phrase, which begins on the 3rd and then jumps down a 5th to the 6th degree. If that didn't make sense, I was just naming the different degrees of the major scale as opposed to.
I feel like this is like when someone explains
It didn't
board
make
games.
sense, but I'm not a music person, so like whatever.
Not all
Yeah,
melodies,
it's like when someone explains a board game to you and you're just like, yeah, I get it. I don't know what it is.
including that specific series of tones, are the Gen Alpha melody. For example, last year I tried going viral by jumping on the trend with this composition, but it didn't really work out. What constitutes the Gen Alpha melody is therefore that these 4 notes are the pillars of the melody. which means all other tones revolve around these because they're landing on strong beats or the melodic phrasings on them.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yes.
Yep,
Yes. Yes.
I've heard
Understood.
that, yeah.
Understood. Do-do-do-do, right. The pillars.
The reason I think this is such a widely copied melody is because it's a prime example of a good melody. And good melody is obviously subjective when talking music, but at least in traditional terms. Melodies in classical music are built up by questions and answers. And it might seem a bit
Sure.
weird to
Oh,
call
yeah,
a melody
yeah, yeah.
a question, but I never really asked for your opinion, did I? Phrase it as dissonance and consonance, which
Mm-hmm.
is basically what all music is built up on.
And you expect a payoff. It's
Yeah.
going to sound crazy, but it's the same way we expect a beat drop in a song when it's
Yeah.
like building to something. And if there
That's not
isn't a
crazy.
drop, people they're like, oh, what? You are
Yeah.
building to something. A lot of music does that. Where, and not just the beat drop thing,
Especially
but a lot
my
of music is
EDM music.
Oh,
You live-
I can mentally
You live for
predict
the drop,
where this
man.
song's going to go based on the way the song's been. So does that make sense? Like the way the melody is, we can predict in our brain kind of the flow of it at a certain point. And that's also why a lot of bands will do that. There's, oh man, I don't know what it's called. It's like there's a break. They'll be singing a lyric, and then when you expect them to sing the next lyric, they'll pause and throw you off
Yeah.
just to give you like a ha-ha moment. That's letting people
That is a
know, oh,
common
this
thing.
is live. It's gonna.
Well, it's actually a common thing. I think even in the second half of a song, they'll always kind of do that break where it's just like, and then we did the. It's like they do that like little pause, right? There's a lot of songs that'll do that.
Be different. Things like that.
But you can't really just end a phrase there.
Right.
And so that question, we get an answer.
Also, this just there have been a few songs I've heard that actually like make me mad. It kind of ties into that payoff thing where I will hear the melody and I expect the melody to go away, and it almost feels because I like a lot of melodies where it's like how we're just here. It's like and it feels complete. And there's been times where I've heard a song and it goes like and you expect it to like end on a down note, but it ends on a high note, and that always drives me insane. Like it would be like like it like feels weird. It feels like it's supposed to go down, but it goes up, and it bothers me because I'm just like, it's supposed to go down like a finish, like it's like da da da. And then some songs it'll be like da da da, or like it doesn't go down. So that just like hit a visceral nerve or something. All right, keep going.
But it's sort of inconclusive. It's not really, the answer you wanted.
Right.
So it's followed by another question.
Right.
And then you finally get the answer you wanted.
Yeah, and that's what it
There's
is.
that. Yeah. Oh,
That's when you,
Yep.
yeah, going down, it's like you're answering the question. Going up is like you're asking the dude. This guy's a
Isn't it?
this guy's a melody man.
This tone.
Yeah.
There are obviously some small deviations with the different examples, but all the melodies all share this characteristic framework. Those
It's
four
comforting.
pillars. In conclusion, it's a great sounding melody by
Right.
itself and has this bittersweet quality, which also makes sense given that.
I would love to know more. I'm not a Gen Alpha kid, but I am really curious about the Gen Z, Gen Alpha mentality and why that bittersweetness is so beloved.
When finding these
Also, dude, if you want a good melody harmony trance song, some people, if you don't care about trance or whatever, you're probably not gonna only do this if you like EDM trance. Look up Neptune's Legacy from Darren Porter and Fairy Tale. It's like 15 years old or some shit, but that's one of my favorite just like melodic harmonic songs. Even after they played it like back in the day, I remember Armin van Buuren was like, massive melody. So good. I love that. It's one of my favorites. Someone else will hear it and be like, it just sounds like noise. Either way, carry on.
examples, I stumbled upon hundreds of examples of songs that sounded alike from different users on YouTube, Reddit, or TikTok. And some come close, but not quite to being the exact melody. And that's because they only contained at least 2 of the aforementioned pillars of the Gen Alpha melody. For example, I've seen Lady Gaga mentioned several times on posts on this subject. You probably recognize this melody.
Mance.
Difference here is that the last pillar ends on the 3rd instead of the 6th, which means it only has 3 pillars instead of 4. Here's some other examples of outliers of the Gen Alpha melody.
I've been thinking about it lately. Does it ever drive you crazy? Just how fast the night changes.
Interesting.
Like a white Mercedes, always been riding too fast.
But I wonder if the answer then comes later. Much like the different styles of poetry of like A, B, A, B, or A, B, C, like that kind of rhyming scheme. Music does that too. And so I wonder if maybe it pays off later. It clearly doesn't follow what he's trying to say here, but it must in some way. I guess I would have to go listen to all of Lady Gaga, which, you know what? Honestly, to my monsters out there, I'd do that for you.
Most of these definitely have the same vibe and sort of the same structure, but I wouldn't categorize them as...
Or you could say that they know that's what people expect a payoff, and so by subverting that, they are doing their own thing of like, haha, just like I was saying earlier about the lyrics and the like stopping playing when people expect you to be playing, like that kind of thing.
Sometimes that subversion sucks ass, and sometimes they just do it for the shock value or to mix it up, and it's just bad.
Be very savvy of them.
It's using the Gen Alpha melody. It's just sort of the same vibe. All right, so I want to make it very clear that this is in no way an attempt to bash any of these artists or to claim lack of originality of any of these songs. All of them have these different features that make them original other than the melody, whether that being the harmony, lyrics, groove, or production.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like Christopher Nolan recently posted this thing about like all the, armchair critics being like, oh, they're using tropes or whatever. Yeah. I mean,
as somebody who's been working on my book and learning about writing for years now, like everything is a trope. Like nothing's original, right? I mean, I've even heard Brandon Sanderson mention how you can just look at modern storytelling and see things like how Dune and The Lion King are just different variations of Hamlet, right? But it's the way that you go about like managing those tropes and those stories, right? Putting your own spin on it. And like that's what a lot of it is, right? It's if you told like 50 different authors to write about the same topic, they would write 50 different stories based on their own style, right? If you have George R. R. Martin, who if he actually decided to write, like Stephen King, Brandon Sanderson, and then like just like Tolkien and like all these authors, like they would all write very different stories, but they would all be good. It would, well, maybe, I don't know, but they would each have their own flavor. And I think that's kind of what this is just like having your own style, your own prose, your own, ideas, and kind of giving it that type of life. Like if me and Jesse did, you get what I'm saying. I'm not even gonna keep going.
Recognizable because they work, and they always have worked. And you just are picking up on the fact that people keep using them because they work. There are millions, maybe
look at the hero's journey, man,
that exist in all forms of media and storytelling and music and art, whatever. Yeah, like, okay, and so I don't think this is bashing it.
But again, this doesn't really seem like a coincidence, so it still begs the question. Lawsuits in music are always a popular topic because nobody wants to see anybody take credit for somebody else's work. And on the flip side, nobody wants to see somebody get wrongly accused of stealing when they aren't. In broad terms, the way it works is that if you make a song with a melody from another song or very similar to another song and get sued, a court decides whether or not you have to give songwriting credit to the original songwriters, which is a cut that varies. The metrics which the verdict is based upon can, for example, be the aforementioned pillars of the Gen Alpha melody. Some popular examples of songs that had to pay the original songwriters for copying include Stay With Me by Sam Smith and I Won't Back Down by John Petty.
Yeah.
No, I won't back down.
But That seems very similar. But I guess there is a fine line because it also takes you back to the idea of, remember when Vanilla Ice was like, no, their song goes dun 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 da da dun dun, and my
Yeah.
song's dun 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 da da dun dun. And you're like, wait, what?
We sampled them from them, but it's not the same bass line. Like it goes ding 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 diggy ding ding. Ding 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 diggy ding ding. Ours goes ding 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 diggy ding ding. Ding 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 diggy ding ding. That little bitty change. It's not the same.
Even though Radiohead, Sam Smith, and George Harrison had to give songwriting credits to the original songwriters, I don't think those examples come anywhere near to being as similar as the hundreds of uses of the
Also,
Gen Alpha
can I just
melody.
say that
And
Vanilla
that's
Ice
because
just
the Gen
looked like
Alpha
a
melody is case of what's
plastic
called
doll or something?
interpolation.
Like, it looked weird as shit.
An interpolation involves taking part of an existing musical work as opposed to a sound recording and incorporating it into a new work. This means it's not sampling, but rather a copy of the melody. Some artists do this consciously, like Ride Round by Flowrider, being an interpolation of You Spin Me Round by
Right,
Double
right. Both songs great, to be
or
honest.
Seven Rings by Ariana Grande being an interpolation of my favorite things from Sound of Music. This is what a lot of EDM artists do, because they
Yep.
know the popularity and recognition of the melody will make it easily digestible, which is great solely from a financial standpoint, because it'll get more streams, and the cut you have to give to the songwriters
This is what I was talking about. I hate when they just take like an insane, just old school trance song or just a really good song, no lyrics, just great instrumentals. And I'm like, dude, this is awesome. And they just like sing over it with like shitty ass lyrics. And I'm like, dude, it feels like they're graffitiing on like ancient relics. That's how I'm just like, it's one thing to like remix it. There's like different remixes that people do, and those are really cool, like putting their own style. But when they just sing over it, and it's like, I know you're just doing this because it feels lazy. They're just like, I don't want to think up a new creative thing. I'm just gonna take this old thing that works and just like sing over. Like that's why I hate it. Sorry, this is like the most passionate I've gotten in a while over one of these.
It's made up for by the recognition, and therefore more streams than if it had another melody. Some also do this subconsciously, meaning they probably weren't aware that they were stealing. Artists like Ed Sheeran and Oasis have been accused of this several times. Either way, they have to pay a huge cut to the original songwriters if the songs are not in the public domain. A counter-argument to plagiarism in music is that there are only 7 notes to choose from. But that argument falls short because there are endless possibilities
Yeah,
when
that's-
it comes to
yeah.
even a major
Mathematically,
scale and a 4-bar phrase. Look
there's a
up
lot to
Van
choose from.
Diatonicism,
Yeah.
for example. In pop music, what happens is that once you're confined to having it sound easily listenable, it narrows the options down significantly, since common chord progressions and pop formulas are the norm. This is why I don't think most of the songwriters of songs with the Gen Alpha melody made a conscious decision to steal or interpolate, but rather just fiddled around with the melody to a very common chord progression and subconsciously heard what sounds good from their past listening experiences. Okay, so everybody's copying everybody, and they are basically doing an interpolation of this melody. That's fine. But who made the melody? Who gets the money?
I love this. Okay, yes, where are we
It's a
going?
name that pops up a lot because Sophia was such a big hit, and most of the examples of the Gen Alpha melody come from 2020 and onwards. She's also a very respected artist, so nobody really sees her as unoriginal. But she didn't write the melody, because I can find several other examples from before 2019 with the exact same melody. All the cases from the 2010s lead back to Lady Gaga, which I mentioned used a variation of the Gen Alpha melody. But this is still not the bottom of this rabbit hole, because through this extensive research,
And I would understand if Gaga was the first. Like, Lady Gaga is very influential in music. So, like, I would understand if that was. But we're going deeper.
all clues lead back to one person and a song released in 2004, which is the oldest use of this melody I could find.
Dude, Anastasia. Anastasia.
She probably nicked it as well.
Yeah.
That
Dude,
was a good video. That was a good video.
Yeah, she probably made like
I
10
am
bucks.
always fascinated. Like, I don't ever assume there's any ill intent or maliciousness in any of this. Hell, I exist on YouTube where people be interpolating all the time. But I think
I disagree. I think there's a lot of people doing that. Not all of them, but I do think there are a lot of people being malicious and trying to steal and be lazy and shit like that. I think he's giving him too much credit. But there's still people that probably accidentally did it, or they've heard something and they just got inspired by it and didn't realize they were, putting that much influence from that thing into their own thing. So, I mean, there's plenty of that, but yeah.
it's fascinating. It makes me always think about the way the human brain works, what we gravitate to, stuff like that. And admittedly, that's part of, again, going back to YouTube, a thing here where people are like, oh, well, what are people drawn to? Well, let's just do that. So if I were to be like, oh, music's terrible, and all these people are doing terrible things, and they're just copying each other, that's literally what my industry is. And I think it's most industries. The thing is, can you get on that train of interpolation before people get bored of it, right? It's the same thing with video games. If you think about like video games, which is a thing I love, a lot of companies will be like, oh, that blew up, let's make our version of that. And you gotta get it out before people get bored of that thing, right? At one point in time, it was point and clicks. At one point in time, it was RTS games. At one point in time, it was 3v3 whatevers. And then it was MMOs. And then it was, League of Legends-esque.
I would also say to that there hits a point where something runs its course and then it waits a while to the point where then people are like, dude, remember that genre? What if we bring it back, right? It like loops again. I think that's why a lot of times we'll get these modern songs even where they pull music from like 20, 30 years prior where it used to be a big thing and it ran its course. Then people forget about it and they're like, dude, people really like that. What if we bring it back? And then people are like, whoa, I haven't heard that in forever. That's awesome, right? It's almost like you get that with even a lot of games. There's a lot of people like, yo, bring back RTS games now, right? Like, or different styles of games now that people want back, like StarCraft, Warcraft, or all these different things. So I do think it's interesting how things just kind of like loop. I mean, it happens with even like fashion, right? There's people that are like, dude, what if we start bringing back fashion from the early 2000s now? I see a lot of people doing, right? So yeah.
Games. That's the way it is. It just flows like that, right? There were certain mobile styles of games people would try to jump on. It's the people in charge being like, oh, we need to do that. But also creators and artists and whatever are like, oh, I love that thing. And again, subconsciously or not, making the choice to be like, oh, that was very nice. Maybe we can do something like that. And if they like that, people are gravitated to that. I love this video. This was great. This was very
That was a good
informative.
video.
Thank you, Mr. Facciani. And that is it. Not too old for it. Honestly, I think we all resonate to things like this. So
Yeah.
I'm good, baby.
What's our modern rhythm gonna be? Is gonna be AI generated beats. It'll be like, dude, remember in like 2026 when we had those sick AI generated slop beats? That's probably what it'll be. That'll be the actual Gen Alpha, whatever generations after that, nostalgia or whatever. Hopefully not. Either way, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Here's some other videos. See you next time. Okay? Okay. See ya.